Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, man, that's loud. Okay, I think I'm good. Can everybody hear me? Everybody sound all right? Um, Good to be back. Good to be back. This is crazy. This was a crazy day. I decided to do this at 4 o'clock. I already got a thumb down. I'm sorry I was late. I deserved the thumb down. But for the rest of you guys, we're going to get right into this. All right? So I'll just give you guys a quick rundown of the plan, what I want to do, and allow me to readjust here. All right. I hope everybody's feeling safe. I hope everybody's happy. I hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you're taking care of yourselves, maybe working out, because you'll feel like there's definitely some trickle down effect to working out and taking care of yourself, and it just helps you to focus on other things in your life. And so today I'm going to just say let's wipe the slate clean of all the other learning and all the other stuff that we talked about on this channel, and I just want to take it back to the basics. So in this basic first step of the phase, you guys know I have laid out the syllabus in that previous video about the phases of the fade, and we're going to go into phase 1 today. So with that being said, I just want to jump right into it, and I want to thank you guys all. Oh, S-Craft in the house. What up, G? You know I want to have you back on this show real soon. If you guys haven't went to S-Craft Blends, go check him out. His channel is dope, and I was checking out his work with the Ergo today. I was literally watching your video with the Ergo right beforehand. Before I went on, and Gamma just sent me another Ergo, and this one's pretty dope, man. It's the turbocharged one, so I actually do have the most up-to-date model, and I'm really a big fan of it. I love it. Hey, what up, B-Lo the Barber? What up, Juan? What up, Montrell, LP? Good to see all of you. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So if you guys have some stuff you want me to critique, go ahead and send it to this. We're gonna do it towards the end of the show. And send those over to masterprimetime@gmail.com, and I'm going to drop them on there, and I'll let you guys know how you're doing with your cuts and stuff. But as for today, I want to talk about how important it is to get the easy stuff done fast. And I already kind of laid out the whole idea behind my technique. Is I think it's going to be really easy for me to communicate this to you, and I think that every single one of you who might be a beginner or might be new, you guys can all execute phase 1 easily. So easy. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have to spend extra time on phase 2 because phase 2 gets a little bit complicated. Phase 3 is actually going to be the shear cutting on the top and the shear over comb to kind of like connect it all together. And for those of you guys who haven't maybe noticed, I just dropped a video about how to cut the top where I just went really in depth on that. So what I'm basically doing is I'm creating myself a bunch of pointer files so I could say like, okay, I can point to this, I can point to that. And then this way, most of my tutorials going forward can be done easier because I can just say, hey, if you need more help with this technique, help with that technique. And I'm trying to get really specific with the learning. So that's what we're going to do. So if you want to, feel free, send me your cuts and I'll definitely get to critiquing those towards the end of the show. We're going to go for an hour. And I wanted to try going early. I literally just ran from the shop, got all my stuff ready. I go to hit start, and it says it needs an update. I'm like, oh, crap. I didn't anticipate that. But anyways, so we're here. All right. The email is pinned up right here on the screen. Not sure if you could see it because it was kind of over there. But we're good. We're right up there. What's up, Musa? What's up, Steve? What's going on, man? So, okay. Phase 1 of the fade. Let me see if I can find a video here to just put on just to help walk me through this and walk you through this. And you know, you guys are going to go back to some of my tutorials after we have this whole conversation. You're going to say, hey Ed, but you said to do it in this order, you said this, you said that. I say a lot of things, but I'm just now starting to figure out probably the most efficient and easiest way just to teach it, to communicate it to you guys. So I almost think that this is smart. This is smarter of me than I probably was during when I was at the barber school. Like I sort of wish that I would have thought of doing it this way because I'm getting messages from you guys, and a lot of you guys are thanking me for helping you and telling me that you've learned a lot and stuff like that. And I feel like this is actually really working. Let me see if I can find one without the voiceover here. I don't think this has a voiceover. Okay, cool. So this will do. All right, I'll drop this one in here, and I guess today in this one we were using the what do you call it? The magic clip. All right, so let's stop here. All right, so the easy stuff's got to get done first. We got to get it done first, and we got to get done fast. So what is phase one? And just in case you guys need to copy it, if you go to that video, you can copy the syllabus. We're going to follow this. I want to go through phase one all the way through phase 6, okay? And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I want to every other week bring a guest on, and then the following week I just want to hammer home on the lesson. So I want to do the guest things, and I want more guests to come on the show, and I had a lot of fun, and I actually learned a lot when S-Craft was on. If I'm being honest, I've been really trying to just make sure that all my work goes super, super hard ever since then, because like he's a great barber. He was really inspirational, and I want to definitely, you know, make sure that my work is at the best level it could be. I think we all should try to do that. So phase one, all right? I'll actually drop it right on the screen, and it's basically going to be just debulking in a quick way. So boom, and let's add that. All right, so here we go. Only 2 real steps to phase one, okay? And the first one is just to debulk, all right? So as you can see, this client, he wanted, I think it was a 6 on top, doesn't really matter, but we want to get all the bulk out of the way, anything done quick. So if this client wants a number 1 or a number 6 on top, whatever, a lot of times I'll start there. I want to just get that out of the way, done, you know? And when you get this done, you want to lead the comb, get it done, and you're done. And the next thing you need to do is, if you're taking this barbering business serious, listen, I know it's expensive to buy a detachable, but it really doesn't have to be. I'm not saying that you have to go out and buy the octanes like I use, and you maybe you don't need a cordless one, but you definitely do need a detachable clipper, because I'm telling you now, you're going to be wasting so much time that it's going to pay for itself. All right, so if it's going to take you an extra 5 minutes, I mean, even with the new Gamma Ergos, they're great, but I would never use them to just debulk the sides. So what am I doing right now? I'm going with like a 1.5 on the back and the sides. I'm just rough cutting. Everybody in this room is capable of this. I'm just going to come up to about the parietal ridge in this case, but this method isn't going to really matter. It's going to be the same no matter how you do it. All right, so I'm just coming up to the parietal ridge, and if you don't know where the parietal ridge is, you can simply take a comb, place it flat against the side of your head, and right where it leaves the hair, right where it leaves the head, that's the parietal ridge, and that'd be a good place to start kind of lifting off the head. And you'll find that it's going to be really easy to do with your detachable. But the idea here is we want it done fast, and we want the easy steps just out of the way. All right, so once we've gotten the bulk from the side removed, and we've gotten the bulk from the top removed, all right, we're good to go. Now, technically, I'm going to skip this part. This is some clipper over comb work. I'm going to skip this because, again, I'm changing the order of operations here than what I did in this video. So the next step would be, of course, continuing with the debulk. I'm going to take my 5-0, and I'm going to put in my guideline. Okay? And in this case, he's going to get kind of like a mid to a high fade. I got my 5-0 on. I just want to get rid of all the bulk as quickly as I can. And there is no better way to do it than with a detachable, because if I decide to use my trimmers, that's fine. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to use your trimmers for this, but if you choose to use your trimmers for this, you're going to be doing 2 things. You're going to be wearing them out, and they're going to be less good for you when you go back to do your line, or they're going to bog down. They're just not going to be as efficient as using a detachable is. But of course, if all you have is trimmers, then you're going to want to use trimmers in this step. And the other advantage to doing it in this order is, like, right now you'll have the opportunity to check both sides of the head and to make sure that they're perfectly even before you begin the blend. You want to make sure that you're coming from the same spot on both sides before you come up. All right, so that's kind of the advantage. And another thing too is, like, I'm doing with this with the assumed knowledge that we're going to be doing these steps the same on both sides of the head. And each guideline that we put in, we can also check on the opposite side of the head to make sure it's good. So when I put in that open taper guideline, I can look at both sides. I can use my mirror for perspective, and I can run with it. Now I'm actually dropping a video about the electric shaver specifically, and all the ins and outs and a lot of close-ups. I know that most of you guys know how to do this step, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse on here. But I'm just going to go up. I'm going to start flicking out and away, and I'm going to remove all the hair at the bottom. One of the reasons why this works so well is because the 5-0 blade cuts the hair down to 0.17 of 1 millimeter. That's as close as we can pretty much get it with a machine that's not going to bald. And then when we use our electric shaver, we're jumping from skin. So our jump is very, very small, and that's the key here. That's what makes this super, super easy. Look, man, I might have to start doing these at 4 o'clock more often. I had like 75 people in here. This is pretty cool, man. I really appreciate you guys all for standing out and kind of hanging out with me and checking this out. But yeah, and there's definitely going to be people who differ, whose opinions differ as far as like putting in the harsh guidelines. I like to put in the harsh guidelines. I don't really find any trouble removing them personally. And if I was to give you guys any advice on like if you are struggling with removing these harsh guidelines, just a handful of quick things. Make sure that your equipment is set up properly. You got it zero gapped good. And really more importantly too, you want to make sure that you are doing this step correctly. This electric shaver can really set you up for failure. If you're running this straight into the line, if you don't give yourself some room where you're moving away, you're going to definitely set yourself up for some difficulty down the road in the fade, and you don't want that. You want to make that as easy as possible. So you just want to get that flick out motion going. You just want to get everything going so it's real simple. And hey, what's up, Rum? Got Rum in the house too. What's good, man? Another great barber channel, you guys. If anybody's out there and hasn't checked out the Rum Barbers, they're great. Their shear tutorials are amazing, and I love watching the reviews. And sometimes I find myself just agreeing 100% with just about every review, and it's awesome. So that's actually, believe it or not, that's actually it for phase 1. All right. So in phase 1, the only things that you really need to concern yourself with is just making sure that your guidelines are even, making sure that you understand how to run your electric shaver. And if your client is using a clipper on the top, you're going to address the top as well. And while Rum Barber's in here, I wanted to also mention that they did a video a while ago about how they felt it was important that you cut the top first. And the more I thought about it, I believe that that's a great way to teach it. I think that's a great way to do it as well. So if you are going to follow by steps, the next 2 steps you're actually going to see, phase 2 is going to be the clipper over comb, which I've done a few videos on this, and I feel like I just really need to come up with an excellent plan, which will actually take place not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. We'll get into phase 2, and I'm really going to just try to put together something really, really nice for you guys to help to understand that. But anyways, Rum was the one who sort of opened my eyes to the fact that maybe we should be teaching to cut the top before we begin the blend, which is why phase 3 is actually going to be shear cutting the top. And then I also decided I would slide in the shear over comb in that area. So essentially, if you follow these steps, once phase 1 is complete, we're good to go with debulking. We can set our debulking clippers down. We're done with them. We move on to our next phase, phase 2. Actually, pick the debulking clippers if you're going to use those for your clipper over comb. And then phase 3, we're shear cutting the top. So now essentially what we've done is we've connected the parietal ridge to the top. We've addressed the top. And one of the coolest things is phase 4. My favorite part is the blend. And I like to kind of set myself up so that everything is ready. And then when I go in to execute the blend, I can just enjoy it, have fun with it. If I am in the shop and I'm on a time crunch, I can spend that extra time that I might need, and I could really take the time to perfect those blends. So I actually I know, right? That would be cool if I could have people call in on the show, and I can if I arrange it ahead of time. But the way that it works is people have to have Skype to come on the show, and when they have Skype, they come on the show, and I can set it up ahead of time. Wicked Blends says, I get nervous about blending too high. What's a good stopping point? I would say, all right, most of the time, more often than not, you'll be able to blend a pretty good line if you stop around, say, the corners of the C cups, right around here. All right, that's going to leave you with a fairly high to mid fade. And obviously, if you're trying to keep it super, super low, maybe you suggest a blowout to the client. If you're trying to do a drop fade, drop it down in the back. This is definitely a good time to address this question too, because I think a lot of people are not sure how to execute the low fade versus the high fade versus the mid fade. And the way that I feel is right, I would say a low fade or a drop fade would be simply just taking it up slightly above the ear, dropping down, and maybe if you were to measure it with your fingers, two finger widths to 1 finger width, that would be your skin line, all the way down into the drop in the back. And the second thing you could do to make the fade a little bit higher is maybe you don't drop it in the back, you just come straight around. Now that's going to make the whole fade appear a little bit higher. And the next step you could do is do your line directly on the parietal ridge like we talked about. That's going to leave you with a fairly higher looking fade. And if you have the military person in your chair, like I actually had a few today where it seems like no matter how high I take it, they're always like, hey, can you get this higher? Can you get this you do your best. So in that case, I would say potentially putting in no line and just running it above the parietal ridge might actually help you to go there. So he says, I really needed this. I haven't cut hair in 4 months. Look, man, I feel for you guys, man. I can't imagine. We're very fortunate here in Florida. We were able to get back to work like fairly quick, but I couldn't imagine having to go for 4 months, man. It would just break your spirit too, you know. So I know, I hope you guys are getting back soon. What do you do if you don't like your fade and you know more than the barber? If you don't like your fade and you know more than the barber, that's a good question. Believe it or not, I mean, we're just people too. We make mistakes. We're not everything that we do is perfect. There's plenty of time. So what I would do is if you were trying to tell your barber that you wanted the haircut to be a little bit better, maybe you can point out to him in the area that you're not liking. I mean, there's times where clients are like, hey, do you feel like you could take it up a little bit higher or whatever, you know, and just if you come at him in a good way and he's humble enough, I don't think you'll have that much of a problem. Okay, you'll get back on the 15th. That's good, man. That's good. Rum's from the UK, what is it? Ireland, right? I think Ireland. I always get them too confused. Yeah, I do want to reach out to him. Wicked Blends had suggested that I have a guy on here who has a mobile barbershop, and I think it's kind of interesting, and I think it'd be fun to hear his story about how he got the mobile barbershop started and stuff like that. So I think that'd be a great way to go. So anyways, I just want to wrap up the phase one because there's really not a whole lot to cover here. I can answer the rest of your questions, whatever you guys want to. Scotland. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I knew it was Scotland or Ireland. I'm always getting them too confused. You know, we're just dumb Americans who don't know the rest of the world that well. Like, we are over here on our own side of the world, and we just know our geography. And, like, man, when people start saying things over there. So, anyways, this is the deal. Phase one's pretty simple. I think everybody in this room can do this, can check this out. If you need to practice this, by all means, get a mannequin, do what you got to do, get your reps in, or practice on your clients. Maybe try to do your things in this order for now. And if you're still struggling, we're going to cover each one of these topics, and I think that sooner or later we'll hit home on whatever the problem you're currently having is, and we'll get to it, because there's definitely going to need to be probably more than one class when we get to the blend. Because we're going in cycles here. We're doing the full 6 phases of the blend, and for any of you guys out there, this 6th phase is definitely the phase where you're going to do your once over. You're going to check the client completely before you hand them the mirror. You're going to make sure that you didn't leave any dark spots, that there is no further issues, and that you're happy with your work, and you're going to allow your client to leave happy. So a lot of people don't even do the 6 phase, but it's pretty important. Before you hand your client the mirror, just make sure that you've double checked your work, because you wouldn't write a whole book and then not even edit it and just send it in. So, oh, MMA up in here. I know. I'm going to have to go watch that fight. The Street Jesus. I got to watch that, man. I'm just catching up on that. And we got MMA in the house. Another great barber channel. And thank you for stopping by, man. So, this is pretty cool, man. I feel like we got some heavyweights up in here, man. We got S-Craft, MMA, Rum. Man, that's pretty cool that you guys all decided to stop by. All right. So, let's see what kind of critiques we got. All right. So, let's see. It feels like I know all the steps, but they're not coming out right, and it's like it's choppy. I know where you're at, and this is a perfect time for you, David. This is the advice that S-Craft was talking about. Is if you're still struggling, or you feel like they're not coming out that smooth, I mean, don't be afraid to ask some others around you for help, because that sometimes I've had students get to that point where they've listened to everything I've said, they've watched enough tutorials, and you might be at that problem where you just need to get them reps in yourself, and you need to do that struggle. But most of the time, it's coming from not holding the clipper flat or not picking up the hair. So one of the things I'll always try to do is I sort of try to work in a crisscross pattern to try to pick up the hair. So you can make sure that every one of your steps, all your step work is done correctly before you jump to that next blade. And then there's always that part, there's always that spot on the head that is difficult to deal with. There'll be like a hair pattern that juts forward. There could be some weird colics. It's very common for one side to come out clean. And that's why a lot of the pictures on Instagram are not showing you the whole cut. Because look, we can pull off some good cuts. We can pull off, what we got to pull off. But, it's just a case of continuing to work, following your steps, and trying your best not to, make too many mistakes. Okay, my first critique is from Bobby. And let's see here. Wilson, let me answer your question real quick. I just seen it. Do you go straight to the number 1 guard after the no guard, or do you use the half, and how far up on each? Okay, that's a good question. I think the majority of the people who've been watching my content for a while know that I'm a pretty big fan of skipping the half and then returning to it. But also, if you check out my half attack videos, I feel like the half attack really works well with most clippers or most systems. It just seems like it blends super easy. And the answer would be, yes, I do like to, if you're going to go that route, I like to skip the half guard, and I like to return to it. And one of the reasons is there's actually some overlap between your half guard and your 1. So you'd be surprised at how much damage you can do to the blend, and then when you get done, you're good. Oh, Ghetto Symphony, I seen your question earlier right before the show, and I just want to let you know I'm in Naples, Florida. I see you're in Tampa, man. So that's pretty cool. One of these days, man, I'm going to go up there. All right, so we got Bobby. He wrote, here's 2 fades I recently did I would love for you to see. I got into the barber industry about 2 months ago. I haven't went to school yet. I've been on your channel heavy with some learning, with some others learning the game, and I'm getting my skills together. These are my 2 sons that I cut regularly. I'm welcome to all the criticism I can get. And all right, man, let's throw them in here. All right, we got the back, the taper in the back, and let me see here. We got some in the side here. All right, man. So if you've only been cutting hair for 2 months, this doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. It can be pretty tricky to get these waves to lay down good, and it looks like you did a pretty good job of that. It might have got a little short in the very front. I'm not sure if his hair in the front is is a little lighter. It's possible. Looks like you may have used a little bit of enhancement there. I think your edge up looks pretty good. And it could be the way you took this photo, and I'm looking at the one on the right, guys. It could be the way that you took this photo that it looks like there's still a tiny bit of weight in here. Some texturizing shears are potentially coming down with the grain with the one in the open position, one in the closed position. You'll probably have lightened up some of that area in the blowout. But, I mean, dude, I wish I was doing work like this in 2 months. And then if we go over to the taper on the backside, I think that taper is looking pretty clean, man. I know how challenging this can be with the waves, and I'm happy with what you did here. I don't really have a whole lot of bad to say about it. I think you're on the right track, and if you keep going along those lines, I think you're going to be all right, man. All right, let's check out this one here. Now this is the same one. This is Bobby as well, and we got, let's see here, a couple different photos. Let's see this side. Okay. Now this side gives me a little bit more to critique on. I like that. I like where you're going. I mean, what's with this guy on the top, man? Is he gonna cut this thing down a little bit? I got a client who's just like this, and he doesn't want to cut the top either. But the blend on this other side, on I guess it would be the client's right side. Actually, I'll just close this one for a second. The blend on this side looks all right, man. It doesn't look too bad. It looks like there's, I wish I could zoom in a little bit further. But all in all, it looks okay. And that spot above the ears is always a little bit dark. And a lot of times you just got to go a tiny bit shorter into that area. So if you have to, you might want to break that up. Maybe some texturizing shears would help that. These two lines that you cut, they look good. They're cool. I would just flip the trimmer upside down as well and hit the bottom side of the line, because the very bottom side of the line, I don't know, it looks like to me it probably could be defined a tiny bit more. The color enhancements on this one, the color enhancements don't look too bad. I would probably dial it back a tiny bit if it was me. But all in all, that's not too bad. I wish in 2 months I was doing this. I mean, all right, so this right side, though, we probably, what I think happened on this right side is we might have went a little bit too crazy with the enhancement in the blend, because I think the blend itself might have been, it's hard for me to see right now, but it looks like you definitely got a little bit of weight here on this left side, and I would have definitely worked on this a little bit more. So probably more than likely an open half guard, closed half guard, a little bit of corner work, and I think you would have been in there. So if anybody's wondering where to send the pictures, you can send them right here to this email, masterprimetime@gmail.com, and we'll be rocking and rolling and doing this for a couple more. All right, I got Manny sending in some. This is the bathroom barber. I'm just joking, man. He sends me a lot of the photos, and a lot of them he's cutting people at the all right, man, let's see here. We got what looks like he went down the skin, took him up. I mean, I can already tell by looking at this client's, like, the type of hair that he has, and this can be a challenge. I wish you had a picture from the front, if you had one of the silhouette from the front, because this can be really challenging to stop it from sticking out and make the silhouette look actually even and good. But as far as like what I can see from this side, the fade could use a little bit of help. It's not bad. It's just I can actually see it looks like some texturizing shears probably could have helped you, or even potentially using just some regular shears, laying them in there and texturizing it this way, just to break up some of them spots. Probably it looks like it's possible if I went open and closed with the number one, I think that I could have picked up a little bit of that hair and smoothed out that blend. But and all in all, not a bad cut. I'm just trying to help you guys grow, trying to nitpick you. And I do this all the time in my photos too, but we all should take just that extra 10 seconds to just wipe the client off and try to make them look clean before we take our photos. But I'm not even talking no trash about that because I do the same exact thing. Okay. All right, you guys, this is Dominic, and he's actually the one that won the 357 last week, and he's sending in a picture. Now, Dominic is 13 years old or so he's beginning his journey, and let's see what we got going on here. All right, he looks like the bathroom barber strikes again, or one of the bathroom barber strikes again. He's got his edge up going. He's squaring up the back. Kind of hard to get anything from that picture. Let's grab one of these other ones. A picture straight on from the neckline. Hopefully we got one of those so we could see if he did the line pretty good. Looks like the fade probably took it just a little bit high. It's kind of hard for me to see 100% what we're doing here. There we go. There we go. So yeah, it looks like the fade was taken maybe just a little bit too high. I would probably have said, let's get this blend down a little bit, and maybe begin it around the parietal ridge. Again, right about here. Begin your blend here, blend it in, and knock it out. Now here's a better picture from the front. And this gives me a little bit better perspective. And yeah, I would definitely have probably cut the top just a little bit shorter too, just because I feel like the very front was left like a tiny bit long. But look, for 13 years old, for just starting, you are not doing bad. You keep at it, man. You're gonna be doing all right. All right, we got this is Wilson, and he looks like he put in some work on this one. So let's check it out. Man, you know, this cut would be perfect for the video I'm working on. I'm trying to work on a video about a bunch of different ways to finish the sideburns. And I have pretty much everything I want filmed already for this video. I just wanted to do like one of these low tapers like this. And I like this cut, man. I don't really have a whole lot of bad to say about this. It looks like he put a lot of extra work into the edge up. He went back and hit it with the enhancement. I would say maybe get rid of a little bit more of that white. Maybe tuck that in with the trimmers a little bit more, just to kind of blur that white line out so it isn't so apparent. But all in all, this is definitely a work that you put a lot of work into it, and it looks clean, and I like the way the blend looks and everything. And based on this photo, I can't really complain about nothing. So I think this is good work, man. And you're right on the money here, Wilson. He didn't write anything, so I'm not sure how long he's been cutting or whatever, but it looks like he's got a little bit of time under his belt. All right, so let's see here. What else have we got? All right, another one from Dominic. Again, 13 years old, only been cutting hair for a very short time, and he's knocking out a skin fade here. Now, I guess the only I can't get close enough. I'm trying to zoom it in, guys. This is the furthest I can zoom it in. But it looks like there's just a little bit of cleanup around where you put in the skin line. You might want to try to put in the skin line maybe a little less harsh, something like that, and see if you can see if you can kind of get that harsh skin line out a little bit easier. You might try coming up with your trimmers into that little spot, and make sure that you're setting your guidelines so that you can actually see them. So when you set your open taper guideline, give yourself enough space, because he has some room that you can spread this blend out, so you don't have to like fight and try to make it too steep or anything. So just spread this blend out, work your steps, and you'll smooth that out. And that looks like, let's see here. There was another one. From Jamal, he sent one in here, and this is Jamal K. He actually sent me this one yesterday, and usually I always tell you guys, man, I pretty much only check this mailbox when I'm live, and I seen that. Oh, he's been Mark Wilson has been cutting since his teenage years, and he's looking to switch careers, and he's taking it serious now. I mean, based on what you just sent me, I thought that was a really good cut. And you know, if barbering makes you happy and you feel passionate about it, you should definitely go and follow that. Okay, this is Jamal, And Jamal, buddy, I gotta say this is a pretty clean cut. I don't really have a whole lot of critique work to do on this one. If I'm really nitpicking that area above the ear, it's always a pain for everybody. I mean, everybody struggles with this area. If you overdo it with the enhancements, okay, Silky Wavy, if you overdo it with the enhancements, you can definitely get yourself a color remover, and all you do is just wipe it off and start again. It's not too bad. If you're using fibers, you can just dust them off and start again. So I myself, I like to use the spray. I like to use the Kiss. I usually mix Kiss with alcohol, go with that. I actually was using the No Drip a long time ago. I thought that was pretty good too. It was kind of nice that it was already mixed in its own bottle, and it had the little thing in there when you shook it. It was nice to use. But I mean, really, my only criticism about this one is maybe we could have used the trimmer in the upward direction, just a little bit above the ear. Same thing. All right, let's see here. This is Timo. Timo, what do you think about this cut? Let's see here. Looks like he sent me. Bam. All right, this is the biggest I can make it. It's a little bigger on my screen. I'm able to see, and I gotta say this is a pretty smooth blend. I kind of like this. This is kind of like it's smooth. I mean, if I was gonna critique it, the one thing that jumps out me at this picture, and let me know guys if you agree. The one thing that jumps out at me in this picture is the beard, and like I know that sometimes clients don't want to pay for beards or whatever, but like if you're gonna take a picture and you want to maybe advertise with it, just do blend that in. Just make it so that when you get your picture, it isn't that thing that like you automatically notice. But that's definitely like a little pet peeve of mine, is I would just definitely say at least blend the beard in a little bit. At least on the side you're gonna do the picture. So, but anyways, no, it looks like this is a nice high fade. I really like this, and I think you did a nice job on this. I don't really have a whole lot to critique you. If you were going to use a little bit of enhancements, you could have probably gotten rid of some of these little patchy parts, but this isn't your fault. It's just the way the hair grows. He wrote, seriously, guys, rum and MMA has inspired me to be a barber. Thanks for all the knowledge you guys give out for free. It's actually amazing. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you supporting my channel as well, and that's what's beautiful about this. We can all help each other out. We can all help each other grow. I hope that you guys take the time to go and subscribe to the other channels that are in here. We got Rum in here. We got S-Craft in here. We got MMA, and I can't do it all too. These guys got some great info and great tutorials as well. Okay, Eddie, please, Sensei, please critique my work. I started about 2 months ago with my boys. Here's some before and afters. I'm not gonna lie, it took me 3 hours. All right, you guys. What's the drum roll? Don't I have a sound effect somewhere? Let's hit it. All right, it's going to be this one. It took them 3 hours. Let's see what we got. All right, we got this one here where we have a straight on view. It's not that helpful. I can't really see too much. Looks like it might be a tiny bit long on top. Let's go to the side. Okay, here we go. We can work with this. These must be the before pictures, actually. This is before. I was thinking, in this picture, it looks like he could cut this hair a little shorter. All right, let's move it on to the next one. Here we go. Now here's the here's the after pictures. All right, we got that, and then we got this front one. So that's cool. Thank you for submitting the front view as well. Okay, a couple things here. I would just say. Number one, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate the super chat. It helps the channel grow. And let's hit the DJ horn. Boom. Okay, so yeah, the first thing that jumps out at me on this picture on the left on the straight on view is I would just take the time to kind of square out these corners a little bit more. And then the other little pet peeve of mine is whenever I do a hard part, there's always those little hairs that stick out at the end of the part, like wherever you decide to call it quits, wherever you stop. I don't think I have a pair of shears here to gesture with, but a lot of times I'll take my shears and I'll just open them up, and on the inside of the shear, I'll actually just nip that area a little bit shorter so that when I see that silhouette, that front view, that it takes you down a little bit right there. So that way you can not have that to look at. So, but from the front view, the silhouette itself doesn't look bad. Like I said, I would just square off them corners a little bit better. And then the hard part, we got to talk about that. The hard part got a little wide. And if I'm going to do a design on a client with a hard part, it's kind of rare that I'll do the design on the same side as the hard part, because I just feel like it sort of takes away from the design I'm trying to do. So I would tell you to put the design on the opposite side, just so that when you do the hard part, it's going to be clean and kind of its own kind of thing. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but drop some comments if you agree or disagree with that. But that's just how I feel about it. Now, the width of this hard part is definitely something you want to be a little more careful with. So I just happen to have a trimmer sitting here. All right, the more of an angle down that you touch him with, you're going to remove more hair, because the cutting blade is hitting so much hair at the same time. All right, so when you come in to do this hard part, try to make sure that you have your trimmer angled a little bit more so that you're just hitting the one side, and then flip it over to hit the other side. Now, another thing that can happen in these hard parts can turn into roads if you're not careful. If you think that you're going to go back and do all of it with the straight razor, it's very easy to slip and cut too much. So other than that, the fade itself doesn't look too bad. I can't see the opposite side, or can I? Let's see here. The fade on this side, it doesn't look too bad, and we could check out the back too, because he sent me all of it. And remember, guys, like, you know, he hasn't been doing this that long. So you got to give him some credit. I think he's doing work that's still better than a lot of the I would say, you know, shops that might not do men's hair, like say Supercuts or Sport Clips or something like that. He's hanging pretty good still. All right, so in the back, the blend itself is not bad. I mean, it looks like you're following your step work. You're doing your techniques. I think you handled the colic area pretty good. And I can see the silhouette a lot better from this side, and I like it, man. So for only 2 months, I would be happy with this. I wish I was able to cut hair that well after just 2 months. Okay, let's see here. I'm not a barber, but I'm learning with your help. I struggled to fade from a 1 and above. Any advice would be appreciated. Okay, here. So we got a little guy here. Looks like, and this can be a tough situation too, because sometimes you're cutting these kids' hair and they are just like, I did get your picture, Isabel. I'm going to get to you next. So sometimes you get these little kids and you got to keep them in your chair for a while because you're practicing and you're trying to learn, and they're squirming and they're moving, and you know, you got to take that into account as well. So let's see. This is just a picture that he did beforehand, and here we go. He actually, for saying he struggles, this isn't terrible. I mean, this doesn't look like somebody who struggled too much. It definitely is. Oh wow, I was able to really blow that picture up. Let's work with that. So yeah, it's definitely pretty good. You did a pretty decent job with the blend. I mean, it feels like a little bit dark, but that could be the picture. You see how you have your window behind him? I would take the photo from the opposite side so that you can have that nice natural light. And again, guys, wherever you're cutting hair, if you don't have a good light, it's going to be really hard for you guys to do a good job. It's so hard to fix what you can't see, and it's going to be hard. So whenever you're doing that, just go ahead and try to take your pictures from the other side, or do your cuts from the other side. All right, and it looks like your edge up, when you're arching around the ears and the neck area. Let me make this a little smaller. Don't be afraid to kind of anchor on the head. I like to do it with the middle finger. I kind of anchor on the head, and I just sort of twist around it. That can help you be a little bit more accurate. And again, coming back the opposite way, you can do the same thing. All right. So that's not too bad. And he asked for some help with blending above the number 1. And my best advice to that would be to just make sure that you understand your fade scale, your step work. And we'll just say, like, if you've done a good job with your skin into your open taper, and then you're struggling above the 1, just know what steps there are in between. So open taper, half guard, 1 open, 1 closed, 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 closed, 2, and so on and so forth. And just try to stick to your steps and keep it flat. Seems like you're on the right track though, because you wouldn't have come up with a haircut that clean had you not. Is anybody experiencing? This is a good question. Is anybody experiencing a slower slowdown of clients? Is anybody experiencing this? I personally am not. Really, ever since the temporary shutdown that we went through, we have been really, really busy. I would say that anybody who is on lockdown right now, don't have no fear. When you open back up, you better be ready. Stretch your hands, get everything ready, because it's gonna go down, and you guys are gonna be 4 to 6 weeks. I would imagine that Barber and those guys, they've been on lockdown for 4 months. All right, we were like 4 to 6 weeks of insanity, and finally, it's moving down to a more comfortable and more manageable level. Yeah, I noticed Ant. I haven't seen Ant in a while. I haven't seen him been posting in a little bit. I was going to reach out to him, see if everything was all right. All right. Let's see here what the next one is. I promised Isabella. Let's go to her. Hi. This is Izzy. And all right, let's see what we got going on here. Is there more than one photo? I'm looking at this white around his ears. I'm like, what is that? What is it? Wait, he's wearing a mask. That's what that is. Okay. So the taper, it is a little bit of a challenge in some of these people. We got to realize that they're going to have some contour on their neck, especially kids. They're going to see like a real concave. An occipital bone is another challenge in the area, but generally speaking, on this type of hair, it can be pretty challenging to make it all come out as even and as smooth as you did. And I think you did a good job here. I'm not going to complain. I wish I could blow this up and like get in here a little bit deeper to see, because it looks like it's possible this could be a tan line, or there might be a very small line towards the very, very bottom. But I think you're on track, because, we don't need to get so obsessed at making the teardrop shape or the corners absolutely perfect, because again, guys, when our clients leave, their hair's gonna grow back, and when their hair grows back, they're going to have that hair sticking out. It's not going to look good anyways. So you don't want to overdo it on the edge ups. You don't want to push them back too far. So in that, I think you succeeded. And the silhouette of this haircut looks really good. I think you're doing a great job, Isabel. And you keep at it. And this is good work. I would walk around with that. Would you guys wear that? I would wear that. I wouldn't even think twice. All right. So Dominic says, my Andis lever was loose. It kept moving when I was cutting. I just screwed the screws inside, and it's way better. It was messing up my fade. Yeah, that's exactly it. There's 4 screws on the inside of your masters. If you overdo it, it can make your blade really tight also. But generally, if your blade's a little tight, it's probably going to loosen up through using it. So you're going to be in better shape anyways. And I work, let's see here. I work in what is a typically busy shop. We're very slow as of now. We don't know what's going on. Where is everyone? If I were you, I would definitely try to get yourself some more exposure on the internet. I can't tell you guys enough how much Instagram helps me. Like if I was to post something right now on Instagram, I can almost count the minutes between when I'll get bookings. I post a nice photo, and I'll look, ding, booking, ding, booking. And it really does work like that. Like, especially if you tell people that you have availability at this time, And generally, you know, if you are struggling to get those people, you know, just posting and being consistent with it and showing people what your work is and what caliber of work your work is, people will start lining up. It takes a little bit of time, but it's good. Is it bad advice to work at a supercuts or a type of place where you just want heads to cut? I'm coming back after years. My shop is also slow. I would say 100% that's a great idea. Go work at supercuts. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the stigma. Knock out some heads and you can get a lot of experience real fast. But don't think that you can't take people from that supercuts and move them to your next shop. You certainly can. And I want to let anybody here know one of the first places I ever worked was Supercuts, and it was probably, I would say, among one of the better things that I did because I got a lot of experience, and I'm talking about long hair, women's hair, a lot of scissor work, a lot of fades. It was on what's called Military Road in Niagara Falls, which is the reason they call it that is because there's a military base across the street from it. So I got pretty comfortable with fades too, and if I'm being perfectly honest, going back throughout my career, that was definitely something that helped me get really good really fast because the internet wasn't so big and I didn't really have people around me to reach out to at the time. And you know, I was still finding my way. That was a great help for me. Maybe some of you guys are getting a lot more value out of like YouTube and stuff like that than I could have, but definitely you know, that was definitely helpful. So I wouldn't think twice about it. Go do it. So, all right. Let's see here. We got this one's from. I'm not gonna try to butcher your name. I got his name is Evder. I think it's Evder. Just doing this for a month, practicing it at home. I've been watching you, and we got a cut here from the side. Let's see here. It looks like actually the blend itself doesn't look too bad, man. You only been doing this for a month. That's not terrible. I would just say probably keep the blend a tiny bit lower. That's, you know, my only real critique is I wouldn't mind to see a little bit more darkness towards the top. But if we're looking at the front view, it looks pretty good here too. I mean, check out the front view. It's not bad. It's not bad. The lineup looks pretty clean. I mean, overall, I'm not. I would think if I was cutting this well in a month, I'd be happy. How long did this take you? I noticed the neckline looks like he might have had this cape a little tight or whatever, but it looks like he may have been sitting there for a little bit. And I can see in this one, if I'm looking at the context clues here in this photo, he just got an Andis T outliner, and it's definitely set a little bit tight. It scratched his neck up a little bit, and I could see the outliner in the picture in the box. So I don't think he's lying about doing this for a month. I don't think the cut's bad. One thing I would tell you is just test it on your skin before you put it to a client's neck because, you know, you could scratch somebody up like that, and that could be kind of rough for the that could be kind of rough for the client. So just, you know, keep that in mind and try that. Okay? All right, you guys, this is my last critique. I'm going to drop one more. Any other questions that you guys might have, feel free to leave them in the comments. We will be back next week, and we'll be getting back into it. Here we go. This is one more from Timo. Thank you for your words, man. I love to see your videos, and you helped me. Let's see here, and I love to see your work, and you've helped me in so many ways. I'm getting a little bit better at barbering. I will do a barber academy for the Germans. Then I will do a barber academy for the Germans. Oh, I see what you're saying. You'll do a channel similar to mine, and you'll speak German, which I definitely cannot do. You'll fill the void for the internet for sure. All right, and this is the other side of the cut. This, again, man, you're doing well. You know, this type of hair that you're cutting here is definitely challenging. I can see this hair will pick up a lot of lines. So really, you know, this is a nice cut. I don't have anything bad to say. I'm pretty confident that if I did this client's haircut, it would probably come out pretty close to this. And I like that you blended in the beard on this photo. That's good. The only thing that really jumps out at me, like when I look at this, there's two things. The The colic just a tiny bit. I'd probably just knock off those little hairs because they bother me. And I'm really like focused on my silhouettes lately and just making sure that everything that the client will see when he looks in the mirror, or that a person will see when he looks at him from the side and stuff like that. I would just knock that off, clean that up a little bit. And then the bangs, if you've seen my how to cut the top video, I showed you a better way to blend them in, because you don't necessarily need to impact the length on those to do this. But if you held that up and clean that up, I guarantee you, if you held the bangs up right now, you would see a section that could be cut. And it'll help you to blend that in. So if you need to, go back and watch that video. Oh, God. This thing must have been going forever. Sorry, you guys. Thank you for those of you who stuck around. I don't know what happened, but now I got to finish the broadcast. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.